If you're anything like me, you've been staying up late at night wondering whatever happened to those hot comic books from April 23rd, 2022. Well, don't worry, I'm here to answer all your questions because we're going to take a price look back at those comic books that I selected for my top 5 not to buy list from that week in the 1 year later look back. We will be looking at prices from Cover Price, Go Collect, comicspriceguide.com, Overstreet Access, and eBay sold listings for each of the 5 books I picked that week. Without further ado, let's dive into the first book from that week, which was Wonder Twins #1. So looking at this book, we definitely want to check out the raw and graded prices over on Cover Price. I do look at raw comic book values. We're going to be basically looking at near mint for this sucker. So when I initially made that video, this comic book was going for $21.99 the day before, and then it shot up to, it's actually the same day, $25, and then it started to drop off. $5, $10, $12, $12, $7, $3, $3, $3, $3, $1, $3, $1. Looking at slabs for this one, the only 2 data points I have are going from $36 to $56, and that's from June of last year to July of last year, which is not a very big time jump, and nothing since then. I am curious to see what Go Collect has to offer. Let's look at CGC 9/8 for this book. Okay, looks like the 1 year average on this is $46, and they don't offer a 90-day average, which again implies low volume and the sales aren't that high. Okay, now looking at comicspriceguide.com, the raw values I look at about a 9.4, that's $4 for this particular book, and in a 9.8 it's $45. Overstreet Access has this book listed. They only do raw prices. They're saying it's a $4 book in that kind of high tier. So let's head on over to eBay sold listings, and this one, not a whole lot comes up. In May, we did have a $6 sale, $4.31. That's actually the first volume, never mind. $1. Best offer for less than $7, less than $2.25, less than $4, $3.99, $3, $3. This thing is back at Cover Price. I think you're totally fine having not invested in this book. I mean, let's consider this, that, you know, you would have been paying, what, $25 if you ordered it the day I made the video for a raw, and you can pick it up for $3 now. It's pretty clear cut to me. Okay, for our next book on the list, we are looking at King Conan 3, the 1 in 25 Basadula variant. This is a controversial issue. There is a potentially racial mention inside the issue. It was recalled, and that drove up speculation around the book. Let's take a look at the historical pricing for this. So first, let's look at Cover Price. This one, let's check out the raw values. Not much to go on here because both of these sales were before I made the video. Although we do see that it crept up to, looks like 120 was the high a couple weeks before I made that video. All right, looking at slabbed, 0 recorded sales. And this is interesting. I'm going to go to Go Collect, and when I tried to pull this up earlier, I noticed this. I can't find this on Go Collect at all. So I don't know if that means they won't list it because there's none on the census. It is kind of interesting. But yeah, the variants down here, there's just nothing for this 1 in 25. So I don't have anything from Go Collect to pull to. Over on Comics Price Guide, however, we can check out the values for the $4 raw and the $45 9.8 on Overstreet Access. Let's check out what they're saying. This thing is a $4 raw as well. Now, when you get to eBay sold, I scrolled down pretty far. I tried to search for this a few different ways. This is the only one that came up. This was in April of 2023, and this was a $50 sale with free shipping. So that's pretty decent. 1 year, basically, yeah, 1 year later. So for King Conan, so far you probably paid double that, but it's still holding its value. I'm considering doing a series where I look back at some older books that I've done that, you know, I'm not going to do 2-year price look backs and that kind of stuff necessarily, at least not regularly, but I might pull certain books. This might be an interesting one to track even further down the road. So I might look at this one down the pipe. All right, the next book we're going to dive into, we're not going to have any problem finding this on any of the sites that we look at because this is Journey into Mystery Annual #1. Okay, put yourself back in the shoes of a year ago of a speculator. This book was supposedly going to be hot because Zeus appeared in Thor, Love and Thunder, and as we all know, the appearance of Zeus in that movie was, it just wasn't great. Let's put it that way. Okay, so let's move on down to raw values. This is going to be a tough one. VG is the most common grade, which I tend to trust that. 85 transactions. So the closest one is $280 after I made the video by about a month. 180, 300, 325, 250, 190, 275, 284, 250, 350, 264, less than 200, 350, 203, another 308. Now let's look at like the last 5 sales though, and these are pretty recent. 115, 95, 167, 159, 220. So an average approximately of about 160 probably, 175 maybe. That's not too bad, but it's tough because raw books pricing is a little more inaccurate than this will have you believe, really, just in terms of like what you're going to get for the condition of the book. Looking at slabs, let's look at that same, let's see, most common condition is that 4.0. Do we have good price data? 418. Yeah, so you went from 450 right before I made the list to 400, 470, 207, 350, 375, 215. The most recent sales were 150, 300, 230, 225, 216. So that's definitely down. Even that $300 sale is down. Okay, yeah, so it's trending down on the slab. This is going to be an interesting one for Go Collect. They show the same thing. Okay, so let's look at that 4.0 to keep it even. $260 1-year average. The 90-day average right now is 213. Interesting. And I do want to go back. I saw that there was a lot on their list for the 5.0 as well, 116. So let's look at a 5.0. Okay, for 5.0, a full, 2 grade points up, 460 for 1 year and 361. Interesting. Yeah, and you can see the graph even kind of tells that tale there of that spike and fall off. Comicspriceguide.com. Let's look at that 4.0 range. $113 raw versus, let's say $215 for a 5.0. Overstreet Access. Again, looking at a 4.0, they call it about a $214 book. And then looking on eBay sold listings, $155 basically for 4.0, raw for 100, raw for 135, 66, a 7.0 for 900. And then a 1.0 for $72. Yeah, looking at this, I don't think that, this is a great book. A lot of people are going to be collecting this book for a lot of different reasons, other than just the spec for the MCU. But I don't think that it, had a lasting effect on it. Certainly not 1 year later. And in fact, I would go so far as to say that, hey, like a lot of books from this era, this is a really good one to pick up right now if you're looking for something based on the conditions of the market. Same thing goes for this book. Our next book we're going to look at is Wonder Woman Historia. This is the Amazon's #1, and this was a soft cover black label book. Looking over on cover price. Oh, by the way, this says, several first appearances, as they note. Thero and Like, first appearance of the Tribe of Artemis, Hestia, and others, Origin of the Amazons, and Wonder Woman. So looking at the raw values for this one, we can already see that there's not going to be much to look at here for these slabs, but for the raw, we can see the most common is a near mint, which makes sense. Looks like $8. It jumped up to 20 at one point, 888, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. And then this is where it gets interesting. There is a $20 sale back in June of last year, but this year we have a $30 sale, a $40 sale, a $40 sale, and then an $8 sale again. I don't know how to account for that. That's pretty interesting. This is going to be pretty interesting over here on Go Collect because when you look at it, there's no information for it. Looking at Comics Price Guide, in a near mint raw, $8, and a 9.8, they say $56. And Overstreet Access, looking around, the $8 range for the book in raw condition. And then I scrolled down on eBay to the first sale I could find, and that was June 5th of this year, where the 3 of them sold for $50. I do have a $12 sale back in February, best offer, $30 sale in May, $25 sale in May, $7, $12.50. The pricing's kind of all over the place. That's from the UK. $10 in April, $25 in April. It's really sporadic. So, the way I got to look at this one, there's those $40 sales. Those are very interesting. I don't know what happened there exactly because there's so many sales of like I think this was probably an $8 cover price book, right? So there's so many sales of $8 around that it just seems weird. But, you know, a few people did get more for it. This one, in general, it doesn't look like it paid off, but at the same time, a few of those people definitely got more for it than they probably paid for it at the time. So I don't know what those sellers are doing that they're getting higher dollar amounts for the book, but in a few cases it worked out. But I just see the general trend of data there going for like about cover price. So that makes it hard to call a win for speculators to me. All right, we've gotten to the final book on the list, which is Vision and the Scarlet Witch number 12. This is the first appearance of Thomas and Billy as babies, so Speed and Wiccan. Let's take a look and see how this performed. First, let's look over at cover price, of course. And the most common value is actually a FN for this one. So let's look at fine. And then 9.8 for slabbed, interestingly enough. It's a pretty big jump. Looking at FN, we see, wow, it was going for $42, and then it dropped to 25, and then you have 41, 41, 41, 16.25, 13.75, 15. So kind of settled into almost a third of what it used to be worth. Looking at slabs for 9.8s, let's see, so before that was 276 before, then 250, 250, 186, 150, 140, 170. So it fell about $90 or so, it looks like there. Looking at Go Collect, and 9.6 edges out. Let's look at 9.6 because it edges out 9.8s by one copy on the census. 1 year average 75, 90-day average 70, so it hasn't risen. And just to be fair, I will look at 9.8 since we looked at it on cover price, and I want to have some consistency there. They say a 1 year average is 180 with a 90-day average of 166. On comicspriceguide.com for this book, raw values in that 9.4 price point, looks like about $45. If we were looking at FN like we did over on cover price, $14. And for a 9.8, $290. Overstreet Axis has this book. If we looked at the FN, they say it's a $9 book. If we did look at Near Mint, they'd say it's $25. eBay sold whole runs for $36. Kind of tells you a lot right there, right? $250 is the best offer accepted on 9.8. Another run. You see this book sold as the Maxi series quite a bit. A 9.0 for $41, and it's a newsstand. Okay. 89 for a 9.6. Some best offer action. 8.50 for a raw. Less than 15, less than 10. $14 for a nicer looking copy. 12.50. So yeah, I think this book hasn't, you know, it's kind of maybe established itself as an ongoing key. It kind of always was, but it's earned its value a little bit more. $15 in the current economy isn't too bad when it comes to this kind of book and this kind of spec, but you know, considering that it was going for like $45 back when the list came out, it definitely wasn't a good book to buy. However, this tells me this is a great book that if you're hunting through dollar bins and you find this book, I'd snatch it up if I was interested in selling comic books. For that price, for sure. So that's been my price look back. If you enjoy this kind of video, remember to check out the flip side, which is my top 5 not to buy list that I do pretty much every week, and you can go check out those videos on my channel. Also, if you're interested in becoming a channel member, that does help support me. Some of the software access, some of the websites I accessed, I use money from my channel members to pay for the ability to research these prices. So I really appreciate that. Their names are up on the screen, and if you're one of them, you are awesome. I really do appreciate the support. And also, by the way, just commenting and watching my videos is all the support I really need. So I always appreciate that. Thank you so much. And until the next one, I just want to remind you, as always, hey, 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 hey. Read comics every day.